Listen, I reached out to Seth because I love Seth and I'm excited to read the book because Sean Payton's proprietary algorithm, which is the most basic arithmetic imaginable, it is take all the interceptions, all the sacks, all the fumbles, and then divide the number of attempts by that number and come up with percentage of bad plays. I don't think the folks at PFF are terrified that they didn't get to that first, but it's how he was doing it.
It was interesting because he wasn't focusing on positive plays.
Correct.
He only wanted to look at negative plays.
So 2 notes. One is, again, I'm not in the lab with him, but the Caleb algorithm had the wrong info. So he was trying to use attempts for everyone, and for Caleb, he used completions, which put his number at 18%, which was the highest of anyone by a lot, down to 11%, which was right in line with Jaden Daniels. Actually, you know, it was at like 10.
So he would have been second with Daniels.
Right in line with him. I think JJ was at like 8, whatever. Okay. Also, for the record, we had Josh, don't sue us, please, Sean, use the proprietary algorithm and check. And of notable first-round quarterbacks over the last decade, Bo Nix does have the best number. The second best number is, and we checked it out, Mac Jones. But it is. The reason I am less impressed by Sean Payton's open adoration for Bo Nix is because, and I said this yesterday, but I will show it to you today, I have seen this movie before. 8 years ago, Sean Payton had found Drew Brees' heir apparent, and he was ready to tell everyone about it. And his name was Taysom Hill. Sean Payton sees new special team star as Saints' next QB. That was December of 17. Troy and Joe said it on Monday Night Football. I don't know if it was Monday Night Football. Troy and Joe talked about it on the broadcast. A year later, Sean Payton's like, you know what? How about he could become Steve Young? He talked about that. Well, he talked about him becoming Steve Young and definitely is the next Drew Brees, or Drew Brees' heir, pardon me. And then a year after that, he was still talking about, listen, all right, so maybe he's not the next Drew Brees and he's not Steve Young. He's going to be an outstanding NFL quarterback. He started 7 games ever. And so
He did have a blind spot for Taysom Hill.
Okay. Or maybe it's just quarterbacks who aren't Drew Brees, you sure wish they were. And so, listen, proprietary algorithm aside, I will believe it when I see it. That's my take. But I know he's not quiet about his love of it, of his quarterback. He's telling everyone who will listen. It's 4 different reporters now he's talked about this too. So that's fine.
I'm not as intense on the Bo Nix thing as Nick is, obviously. But what I will say, Nick, and like I said, he's not my guy or anything like that, but he was good last year. I mean, 29 touchdowns as a rookie without great receiving weapons, no 1,000-yard rusher. In fact, he didn't even have a 600-yard rusher. So, and he had a great offensive line. I get that. And you got Sean Payton, who's a good offensive coach. So, I think, you know, I'm just kind of waiting to see what I'm not really as high on the people that are saying he's going to be. I'm certainly not saying he's going to be a top 3 quarterback?
Top 4 or 5.
Top 4 or 5 quarterback within the next 2 years. But I'm open to him being like really good, you know. So I just kind of want to sit back.
Is he even in the fluid mix right now?
No. He's not in the 5
he wouldn't be in my fluid. Yeah, no. I'm surprised if Purdy isn't on the top 100 that Bo Nix was ahead of Purdy.
By the way, me too.
Yeah, that's surprising. But I'm open to seeing.
It's worked out for him so far. Like, this isn't Taysom Hill. I'm sorry. I know you keep. I know
you know that
continue
too.
to say,
you know he's not.
This isn't Taysom Hill.
No,
Taysom Hill didn't start for him as a rookie. He had Drew Brees. Yeah. This young man started last year, and to Brew's point, he played great. Like
great might be strong. He played well.
He played better than what you had expected.
Yes,
and a lot of other people.
Touchdowns by a rookie.
Like, I mean, they went from a non-playoff team to a team that made the playoffs, 10 wins. None of us had them making the playoffs. True. Like, it was largely because of the performance of Bo Nix. Like, when you have success like that, you don't have the success with a quarterback that hasn't been great all season. He was really good last year. And then to come in and have your coach speak highly, like, it gives you more confidence going in. Again, the expectation or the standard has been set because they made the postseason. So why would your coach now come in and be like, look, guys, let's just hold our horses. We know it's year 2. We know what usually happens in the National Football League in year 2.
No, just set it at we're trying to win the division. Just
Okay. That's the end of the segment. Listen. I just don't get it. I really don't. Bringing up Taysom Hill right now. I mean, I can't express to you how little sense that actually makes. I really can't. These are such completely different circumstances that it's just absurd. And to think that if we dig back far enough, that we can't find absolute missteps or fatal flaws of all of these great coaches, GMs, owner, like whoever's like making decisions. Like Andy Reid, you guys know I think Andy Reid's the GOAT coach. He's never made mistakes. He's never, overplayed his hand a little bit, like ever in his entire career. Like really? Okay. Bill Belichick has never made a mistake. Really? It's just foolish at this point. I mean, it really is. And so to just try to be like, Payton's been wrong in the past. It's like, okay, so that's not the trump card here. That's not the I told you. If he was repeatedly wrong, if Andy Reid was repeatedly wrong, if Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, all these guys, Bill Belichick, were wrong regularly, then they wouldn't be who they are. They wouldn't be as special as they are. But it's a sheer fact that their losses, their misses, their strikeouts, their fumbles, insert any sports analogy you want, are a lot less than their victories. That's why they're great coaches. That's why they've been able to have the success that they've been able to have over literal decades, depending on which coach we're talking about. So it makes no sense. I mean, seriously, it makes no sense. It's like if a head coach got rocked in a Super Bowl in 2010, and then 10 years later he's in another Super Bowl, and it's like, I don't think he's gonna be good in the Super Bowl. Look what he did 10 years ago. And it's like, okay, like what? Like what? Like now, if he played 5 Super Bowls in a row and was awful in all of them, he was wearing his headset backwards and he was like blowing whistles because he thought he was the ref, and then he was like standing on the wrong sideline, and you were just like, dude, our coach just doesn't understand how Super Bowls work. Then sure, then you could say, all right, in this 6th Super Bowl, I don't know if I have a lot of confidence in coach. But it's just like to use some of these like one-off situations as the proof of something, that doesn't make any sense. That literally makes 0 sense. And honestly, sports is the perfect representation of that. We pretty much see that in practice. Like every single game we could ever watch. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like Mac Jones wasn't landing, and so now we're on to like Sean Payton and Taysom Hill. Like it's just absurd. And to downplay what he did, we can't even admit that Bo Nix played great. That's insane to me. That's insane to me. I mean, it really is. It really is. Bo Nix was more composed on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs than Lamar Jackson was, with a worse team, mind you. Certainly with less run support. I mean, I know we love to use this record of him against teams with a winning record, which is insane to do, again, as a rookie quarterback. Okay. So I went through the stats, and I'm going to show you what I did real fast. Because everyone keeps saying, oh, he only played good against bad teams. This is what happens when we just make stuff up. And this is what happens when we just use weird blanket, like win-loss records. Like, we just people just say random stuff like, oh, he was only 1-7 against teams with a winning record or whatever the heck the stat that they love to share. So I went through this. I skipped the Pittsburgh Steelers game because it was his second game in his NFL career. So we're just going to throw that game out, which I think is totally fair to do for a rookie, okay? Now I'd used the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, playoff team, Baltimore Ravens team, playoff team, Kansas City Chiefs, playoff team, Super Bowl participant. I then also did the Los Angeles Chargers again. And then I did the Cincinnati Bengals game because, again, I was against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. And then I even left out the Kansas City Chiefs game because all the starters were sitting, as well as the Buffalo Bills playoff game on the road. So it's 7 games against all real competitors. Let's not pretend like it's not to mention when he also played the Cincinnati Bengals, it was when they were arguably the hottest team in the NFL. Okay? People were literally saying if they could just make it into the playoffs, they will go on a run. Do not downplay that. I don't want to hear it. And he was the 9th ranked quarterback in the NFL during those weeks. He threw for 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in those 7 games. Threw for 1,400 yards. 67% completion percentage. He was top 11 in yards, just shy of top 10. Top 12 in completion percentage. Top 10 in touchdowns. I mean, Patrick Mahomes in a similar 7-game sample size, 10-1. Had a 95 passer rating, which was top 12. I mean, I don't understand. This is by definition his hardest games as a rookie. And what's tough is, even when we do some of these ratings, during those weeks, like, Josh Allen could have played a terrible team. Jane Daniels could have played the New York Giants, right? Like, it's not like this is the hardest games for all of these quarterbacks, but we know for a fact it's the hardest the hardest games for Bo Nix. It's what we purposely selected those weeks for. And yet he was right up there. Right up there. I mean, we know with probably a high degree of certainty that there's no way that those same weeks were also the hardest games for Lamar, Joe Burrow, Jaden, right? Like that would be quite the statistical anomaly here. So the fact that he's even up there with those guys is pretty remarkable. We're taking his hardest sample size, the hardest games for him. I mean, that means something. That means something. I don't understand. I really don't. For rushing also, for quarterbacks, he was top 4 during that time as well in rushing yards. Above Josh Allen, Kyler, Caleb. I mean, and this was all as a rookie. So, don't get confused. Don't get thrown away. This is actually even more remarkable to me. Let's just add this in here too, what I just saw. This is now just under pressure. Strictly under pressure. He was top 10 in passing yards. Again, in his hardest games. Going up against the Chargers twice. Great defense. The Chiefs on the road, etc. Was top 10. Had a PFF rating as top 9. Again, as a rookie. Facing the pressure. Top 6 completion percentage. Top 6. And in his 7 hardest games, he only took 14 sacks. 14 sacks. Below Jaden, below Justin Herbert, below Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's got 21 sacks. Caleb Williams, 31. Man, I don't know what games those were for him. Because I even had the wild card round, and Caleb and Joe Burrow didn't even play in the wild card round there. So, That's what I'm talking about, man. He's got just one more sack than Deshaun Watson, who didn't really play a lot of games. And when he was kept clean, top 5 in touchdowns. 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And was top 10 in passing yards. I mean, that was as a rookie. Under pressure. The hardest thing for a rookie quarterback. That's why rookie quarterbacks are just blitzed and just, they just get after them as much as possible. Because it's like, you're a rookie. You're going to be overwhelmed. There's a lot going on. You don't understand the speed and the rhythm of an NFL game. Like, best of luck. I mean, that's why it's just, the name of the game for those young quarterbacks, for defensive coordinators, is just get after them. Get after him, get after him, get after him. Make them uncomfortable. These guys don't know what they're doing. It's literally like their 5th game of their literal career. And in all those games, he held his own. And that doesn't even, of course, show the nuances of like actually how those games unfolded. Like how Bo Nix genuinely outplayed Patrick Mahomes on the road. In Arrowhead. As a rookie, like that matters. Just that alone is massive. Just that alone is crazy to do. The only thing that's crazier, there's only one thing that's crazier. And that is downplaying Bo Nix's rookie year as a whole. When the guy had the 2nd most passing touchdowns. And you know what? We're no longer in this insanely like inflated passing stat era right now. Like things have absolutely kind of balanced out a little bit. There was a time when it kind of felt like, all right. Because I mean, like if you look at stats from like the 80s, 90s, like it's like, you're almost like, what the heck? Like there's legitimately quarterbacks who we will forget their names, who will have a better touchdown to interception ratio, throw more touchdowns and less interceptions than like John Elway. Like it's, when you really go through some of the stats, you're just like, how was football played back then? Like in the 70s, 80s, you're just like, in the 90s, you're just like, what the heck was that? And so everything is still going to be a little bit more, a lot more inflated, but like it felt like we were in this like hyper inflation where it was just like every quarterback's going to be throwing for 5,000 yards, every quarterback's going to be throwing for 40 plus touchdown, and it's just like that's not what this situation was, right? I mean, it really wasn't. It was just impressive. Especially when we see Justin Herbert, who obviously has the rookie records, including most passing touchdowns and most completions, 31 and 396. And we look at Bo Nix, who had 376 completions and 29 touchdowns. I don't know, man. To downplay that is diabolical. And I'm getting so excited. I'm just getting so excited. I wanted to say this earlier on, and I'll say this in another clip, I suppose, but I had to work so hard to find those Denver Broncos clips last season. I mean, it was brutal. I was making like 20-minute clips out of like throwaway sentences for a completely random first things first, they're doing a segment about the Buffalo Bills, and they're like, yeah, like Bo Nix. And I'm like, all right, I'll turn that into a clip. And it's like, because there was just like nothing out there. And now we got like back-to-back days of Denver Broncos content, and it's negative content, which is, it's the best. It really is. It's the best. It's the best. Some good times are they're around the corner. They're around the corner. And it's gonna be so good. I can't wait. We're so close. We are at this peak. Like it's been a trip, man. Like on one side, it feels like just last month was the Super Bowl, and now we're just like, yet it's been such a grind, and now it's just like it really is a definition of so close yet so far, because now it also feels like we got like actual. I know we got some preseason games coming up, but it feels like we got like opening day. Week 1 is this weekend, and it's like no, it's not, and then it kind of feels like, but it's like next weekend, right? It's like almost. It's just a few more weekends. Like we're just we're so close. We're so close. We're so close. I'm getting antsy. I really am. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Sean Payton and Bo Nix? How do you think this will officially age with Bo and Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos as a whole? Will this be a, because that's what's at stake, right? Like that this is like a defining move for the franchise. The goal is obviously to like deliver realistic goal. I try to be as realistic as possible. If you draft a quarterback, get a new coach, like realistic goal, 2 Super Bowls. 1 Super Bowl, you're obviously going to be very happy and content with and be like, okay, that was good. But like at the end of the day, like and when I say realistic, I think like I'm saying like realistic for fans to like hope for. You can't be like, I want 4 Super Bowls, 5 Super Bowls. It's like that's not realistic. And if you get that, then like, that's obviously a celebration for the ages. But like 2, I think is like if you believe that you got the right coach and the right quarterback, you're like, I at the end of the day, if that's all we get during the Sean Payton, Bo Nix era, like that's pretty good. I can't be upset with that by any stretch of the imagination. Once you start to get to like 3, 4, 5, you're like, all right. So it's like that's what to me is like what's potentially like at stake. Obviously, if there's more, like I said, by all means, but like that's the target that you're aiming for. And if you did that, it would be like, again, by definition, during this Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs era, which would be interesting. It would be interesting. I mean, like, what would it feel like if Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, during their like 20-year run, essentially, like, what if the New York Jets like won a Super Bowl? Mark Sanchez out there winning a Super Bowl, or whoever the heck the quarterbacks were for Miami Dolphins. Was Chad Pennington a quarterback back then for the Dolphins? I don't even remember. We know it wasn't going to be the Buffalo Bills. So it's just like, what would that be? I mean, it would be pretty wild. Or if Josh Allen existed during the Tom Brady era, that would have been even more wild. That would have been even crazier. Interesting. Very interesting. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix? I think I already asked this question, but let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. This really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.